Now, ruling in Saudi Arabia has sparked international outrage. Human rights groups are urging King Abdullah to intervene after a Saudi girl was reportedly sentenced to 90 lashes for assaulting a teacher. Amnesty International says it happened after the girl was caught with a camera phone, which is banned. The headmaster describes the girl as about 20 years old. Amnesty International says she's 13. The judge says the sentence could be carried out within 2 days unless the king issues a pardon. Well, Amnesty International has released a statement directed at King Abdullah saying he must also take steps to reform Saudi Arabian law and criminal procedure to ban the use of cruel, inhuman and degrading punishment, in particular floggings of children. Well, King Abdullah has, for his part, promised reform in the Saudi kingdom, but is the change coming fast enough? To discuss this, I'm joined by Mohammed Jamjoom from CNN Center. Mohammed, Saudi Arabia does like to see itself as progressive in very many ways. Why then does it still choose to resort to this sort of punishment?
Well, Angela, what you're seeing now in Saudi Arabia is you have a king who's perceived by many to be a reformer. King Abdullah, who ascended the throne in 2005, has said on many occasions that he wants to reform the country, he wants to reform the judicial system. But the problem is with the courts. You have judges there who have wide discretion to do whatever they want. There is Sharia law that is practiced in Saudi Arabia, that is Islamic law. Saudi Arabia is a country that practices a very puritanical strain of Islam called Wahhabism. And in that strain of Islam, in Sharia courts over there, this is seen as an appropriate type of punishment. So there's a real disconnect between what the head of the government over there is saying and how they want to be perceived by the West, and in fact what's going on in the courtrooms over there, where you're not usually allowed access in those courtrooms. So it's rare to even know about these types of verdicts. Angeli?
Is the threat of public lashing any deterrent to what Saudi Arabia would consider a crime?
You speak to any Saudi over there, they will tell you that it is a deterrent. I've spent many years in Saudi Arabia, and the population, by and large, is afraid. They're afraid to go into the courts. They're afraid to be sentenced to this kind of punishment, and they do see it as shameful. Whether it's a man or a woman over there, to be sentenced with this kind of punishment and to be publicly flogged is seen as one of the worst things that can happen. So yes, it is seen as a deterrent, but again, what a lot of people don't understand is that these kind of sentences are doled out much more commonly than you would think. Angeli?
So we were talking about Amnesty International before speaking out against this verdict, Mohammed, but also a Saudi rights group has done that too. How common is that, for a rights group within Saudi Arabia to speak out against the king, and do you think it'll have any effect?
Well, Angeli, it's actually quite uncommon. I mean, when this verdict was announced and when Al Watan, which is a daily newspaper in Saudi Arabia, broke the story, you had the National Society for Human Rights in Saudi Arabia come out very strongly against the verdict and say that it should be reconsidered, that this girl was too young, that this kind of punishment shouldn't be happening. That is rare. You have two human rights groups in Saudi Arabia. You have the National Society for Human Rights and the Human Rights Commission. They're both government-sponsored. Because they're government-sponsored, usually they have to maneuver behind the scenes because they don't want to be seen as coming out against the government in any way or against any of the judges. The fact that they've done this says to me and to many others in the media over there that in fact there are people in the government very high up, maybe even the king, who are against this verdict, who want it to change, and they want to let the message be getting out there that this is unacceptable and that judges shouldn't be doling out this kind of punishment. Angelique?
So what kind of reform is the king proposing, Mohammed? I mean, do you think that public lashing could become a thing of the past?
Well, many advocates for human rights in Saudi Arabia hope that public lashings will become a thing of the past. I don't believe it will become a thing of the past anytime soon. In the last round of ministerial chair changing, as it happened over there in Saudi Arabia, there was a reshuffle that went on for the cabinet last year. You had a new justice minister come in. When he came in, he said they were going to reform the justice system in Saudi Arabia. The king was very much behind that as well. But this is an initiative that's going to take a lot longer than people would like. And because of that, these judges who have the discretion to sentence these people to the kind of sentences they see fit, whether it's considered to be right or wrong by others in the government, because of that, this is going to take a long time. They're going to have to replace judges. They're going to have to educate judges. They're going to really have to streamline the justice code over there. Angeli?
Certainly quite a difficult thing for those of us outside that area to comprehend. So, Mohammed, I do appreciate your insight on it. Thanks very much. Mohammed Jamjoom there at CNN Center.